Greetings, fellow targeted individuals. The term targeted individual is found in Florida law and even US code. So there are targeted individuals. There are people which are being subjected to enhanced surveillance. Now, do not believe that law enforcement is against you, because there are many good cops. The majority of cops, the majority of sheriffs are good people. I know that most targets eventually end up going to police, and the reports are false, they're blanked out, they're misleading, they're concealing tags and information, but that should not reflect on the the integrity of all police officers. That should not reflect police as a whole. But there are some police departments which are completely corrupt. So even though I have conservative beliefs, you're not going to find me with a police blue line sticker on my car when I've been harassed by cops and I've documented on video false reports, which do not go along with what I'm sharing. If you are targeted by Jewish people or people that look British in every single state, if you're receiving odd calls from the UK the exact moment you hang up a phone, when you talk to a relative really late, when typically you never receive a phone call past 10, don't be shocked if the exact moment you hang up your phone, you get a phone call from the UK or some Virginia number. If you have any weird experiences with anybody that's driving a vehicle with a US government tag, you can contact the GSA. If you're noticing they're driving erratically, they're harassing you or your family, do not be surprised if you take road trips from Orlando to New York or to Fort Lauderdale, Sarasota, Tampa, Fort Walton, Panama City, Pensacola, Killeen, Texas, Savannah, Georgia, whatever. Do not be surprised if you arrive in a different city and you are targeted upon arrival. I have talked to people in every single state, and typically after a few years, I'll have people that will confront me and say, "Look, I'm sorry for what I did." I'm like, "Why? What did you do?" And typically, I discover that these people were allowing their kids to harass me, they were slandering me. And then typically what happens to many targets is that eventually these people run your tag to find out that they were receiving false information. And they discover that you're not a registered sex offender, you're not a terrorist, you're not a murderer, you're not a drug dealer. And when these people keep an eye on you and they see, okay, this guy's been here 5 years, he just goes to church, he takes a walk, he fishes, he works from home, whatever, then people will give you the benefit of the doubt typically, but it can take 5 to 10 years. And if you relocate to a different city, this typically occurs all over again. And that's the reason why these people try to run you out of town, because they know eventually that you're going to figure what's going on, and they don't want you to.
By the corrupt FBI for over a decade. This is my story, and this is my rally point. To all those in America that value faith, family, freedom, that respect and cherish our American forefathers, our Judeo-Christian faith, our European roots, then I ask you for your support. Ultimately, freedom is under attack, and my example is an example of just that. There comes a time in leadership, and that's exactly who I am. I've been a leader my whole life. There comes a time where enough is enough, and we all as a man need to take a stand. This is my stand. This can be our stand. My problem is our problem. What is happening to me is happening to millions of innocent American citizens. Give me your ears. This is my story. This is the American dream destroying before our eyes. First, a little bit about me. I was born and raised in New York. I attended the United States Military Academy, West Point. I was a U.S. Army officer, honorably served. Then I entered the FBI in the National Security Branch as a special agent. I worked foreign counterintelligence. In 2007, I left the FBI due to the immorality, incompetence, and corruption. At that time, I wrote a memoir of my experience.
Victimhood gang stalking is a relatively new phenomenon, which could be dated back safely to the rise of social justice movements such as Me Too. In victimhood gang stalking, people who self-identify as victims, people whose victimhood constitutes their entire identity, these people group together, collude and collaborate against someone who is ostensibly the perpetrator, the evil one. It's a morality play of all good angelic people versus all bad evil doers. Victimhood gang stalking is a private case of a much larger phenomenon known as gang stalking, and it is the topic of today's video presentation to you, my dear colleagues. So, honorable colleagues, I am honored to serve as the keynote speaker in the 6th Global Conference on Addiction Medicine, Behavioral Health, and Psychiatry. Allow me to present myself. I'm a professor of clinical psychology in CIAPS, Commonwealth Institute for Advanced Professional Studies, in Cambridge and Birmingham, United Kingdom, Ontario, Canada, and Lagos, Nigeria. I'm also a visiting professor of psychology in Southeast European University and formerly a visiting professor for 5 years in Southern Federal University in Rostov-on-Don, Russia. This out of the way, let us discuss the topic of today's video presentation.
There are Americans all over this country who are being harassed, who are being targeted by law enforcement, and if there's a basis for that, then we need to make sure that we get